You're listening in live to Band Brawlers Radio. Tonight we have one hell of a card in store for you when we have the very first ever Band Brawlers World Championship qualifying match between Sin Silva and J.R.C. Let's take a look at that.
People have been asking me if I'm excited to be a part of this tournament. Quite frankly, I'm not. That might come off as a surprise to some people, but let me explain myself here. I was picked as a replacement because Gan went and got himself injured. So because I was picked as a replacement, that basically insinuates that I wasn't good enough to get picked ahead of him. But now that they need someone, they come calling me. Quite frankly, I'm a little bit pissed off about it. And now, not only am I determined to win this tournament, but I'm doing so with a chip on my shoulder, and I'm gonna destroy anybody and everybody that gets in my way.
We will also be having music performances live by 47 Eyez On Me, a recording artist group from North Carolina.
Yo. Does it work? Yo. Whole gang's here.
Welcome to Band Brawlers Radio. We are here live with Kristof of 7 Seconds in the Future.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so crazy, out of the blue, but I'm really happy to be here.
You're just coming off the back of winning the SBX Kickback Battle Loop Station Edition 2021. Walk us through what that was like for people at home who don't know what that is.
Well, it's a loop station battle. If you don't know loop station, basically this is it. Records and play back my voice or any kind of instruments over here, you know. But in this particular competition, I could only use my voice, 2 pieces of gear, a loop station, and an effects pedal. It can do all kinds of crazy stuff to morph and distort my voice. And we had to create music like that. And also, it has a specialty that this loop station, what you see over here, the new RC505 Mark II prototype, so we got a real new device for the competition, which was like a little bit of a hard time because it's a new device, you know, you have to learn a lot of things. It was the craziest, highest level battle I ever witnessed.
How did you get into looping and playing around with the effects just in general? I grew up around a lot of musicians myself. So I remember being younger, being around pedal boards and different like guitar effects and stuff. So sort of what was your journey like and how did you get involved and interested in that?
My main instrument is guitar, as you can see in the background, and I've been in a high school band with my best friends at the time. That band was about to break up, but we still had a few shows lined up, and I was in the rehearsal room alone waiting for the others to come. And I had a little pedal with like 10 seconds of looping option. So I looped a few chords and jammed along. And at one point, I don't know why and how, but I just realized that the band is separating. So maybe I could just get shows with, you know, just looping and background music, lounge music with the guitar and the looper. How cool is that? And as I started to do that, my friends told me, do you know DubFX? I was like, I had no idea who is he. I was all rock at the time and some funk maybe, but, you know, no electronic stuff. As I got to know DubFX, I was blown away and got ready to get into beatboxing a little bit. I got into beatboxing way more later, but that was the initial start for effects and beatboxing for me.
Would you say you have a favorite effect or do you kind of rely on all of them together?
Yes, it's mostly like combinations that give you the best result. But for example, in the new loop station, there's an effect called reverse reverb, and I just really enjoy.
It's really lended itself to just making live performances for one-man bands actually a possibility.
It's just a great and creative way to let people inside your head, basically, in my opinion, because when you're with a band, it's always like a collective thing. But with looping, the listener can actually get into your head because all of your ideas, all of the things is coming from you, basically. And that's really cool, in my opinion.
If someone was listening to this and they were inspired to start playing around with looping effects themselves,
What would you recommend they start with?
Be aware of your musical choices already. So if you're a musician first, then the instrument is kind of becoming just a game to learn the instrument. But if you don't even know how to construct something or how music is built or how it works, etc., etc., then an instrument can be standing in your way. So I would suggest a little bit reverse approach because, in my opinion, it's just way faster. If you listen to Beats Deconstructed or any kind of YouTube channel related to producing music, that could um, kickstart your any kind of instrument or loop station playing because mechanics are kind of easy to master. Well, not necessarily easy, but you have a owner's manual and it's written all there, and you just have to do your thing. But what you're gonna do with it, that's what's matter. Um, if you think about it, most people can speak, but not many people has something to say. So that's the same kind of approach for me to an instrument or a loop station.
Yeah, and you mentioned, of course, you do have a band, 7 Seconds in the Future, and we do have something to show you today that has been worked on by our illustrative team here.
Wow.
So yeah, for people who aren't familiar,
Wow.
uh, Kristof, he's in a band, 8 different people currently at the moment, excluding of course the features
Yes.
you've had on your album. And we said that, hey, since you're coming on to our show, we're a group of artists, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make an illustration for you guys. Now this illustration isn't finished yet. We're actually still adding shadows. We're gonna add a whole like space-like background to it to make you guys glow, similar to your album. And that's actually something I really wanted to get into. Your album, music is magic. Now, I've seen, of course, a few of your singles on YouTube, but I wasn't sure where to find or purchase the album for sale. Is this actually released yet? Is there a big release you're planning with that?
uh Music is magic is it's really hard to explain. Right now it's an ongoing project, I would say. So it is becoming an album of some sort, but it's an ongoing journey and project. The first half of the album is kind of ready. That's what you can find on YouTube, but it's not um, advertised yet because we're gonna still might do some retakes and stuff. But we already when we were ready, I really wanted to release it. But over the past year, we just learned so much and had some new ideas, new little flavors to sprinkle over the already ready product that we might just redo some stuff and release then to Spotify and to everywhere. So right now it's, as I said, a work in progress, and it's gonna most likely gonna have a second part of the album, which is gonna be live performances, partially with looping and with some samples also, and yeah, it's about to be crazy. So
Wow,
um,
it's shaping
it's
up to
just really
be
hard because
pretty
yeah,
unique
sorry.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
because it's already have so many different genres. Now you're doing this live looping section of the album. This is a pretty unique album you got on your hands here.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people ask us that, or ask me that, what is this band? What genre is this band, or like, usually I just stand there, and for a while I couldn't really answer, and then I just realized that the thing is that we don't play genres, we play music, and music is
Mm.
present in all kind of genres, from folk to funk to jazz to metal to electronic music. It doesn't really matter because these genres are just manifestation of some kind of emotion, feeling, vibe, or some cultural values, basically. But what we standing for and what I stand for is music, and I don't want to make difference between or don't want to make that much difference in my head between jazz or hardcore EDM, because sometimes I have moods for jazz and sometimes I have a mood for, I don't know, drum and bass. And I think that's a beautiful thing when you can realize the different part of your personality through music. And that's what the even the album title "Music is Magic" stands for.
It's a really valid point. And one thing that I feel, I've always thought that some of the best bands, or like the most unique bands, so to speak, are the ones who can take a variety of different influences and sort of combine it together into something different versus trying to mimic or replicate something verbatim, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And it's it's again just realizing yourself, and the more you're familiar with yourself, the more you realize that um, you even behave differently when you're hungry and when you're not. So
Yeah.
such small thing can influence your mood, and when you realize that um, you're not even one or two or three dimensional, but way more. You have way more dimensions, especially your personality. Um, then these things can really shine through your music. And then if you just limit yourself to screaming metal, it means that you're always angry, I suppose.
Mhm.
And especially this day and age when your consciousness is a thing, it's happening, and more people try to live more conscious lives. In my opinion, there are less and less persons who listen to music only for one genre or only for one artist. We have Spotify, we have so many platforms where you have playlists for moods, and you just arrive home, you're tired, and you put in some lo fi beats. You arrive home, you're ready to change clothes and get to a party, you listen to some pop or EDM or whatever. And this is more and more common, and I'm happy with it.
And I think you drive home an interesting point there. It's a conscious decision to want to make your music as creative as possible, give yourself as much freedom as possible, because oftentimes you see this happen a lot. You brought up a good point of people being stuck in the metal music thing where, well, now we have to make our music angry all the time. I know Linkin Park had that problem transitioning over to, more electronic sounding stuff that was like softer sounding. And you'll see this happen with so many different musicians where they change up their style and people aren't really sure what to do at that point because they didn't sell themselves as someone who could do a variety of styles initially. And people are so used to that one thing.
Yeah, you end up boxing yourself in. I think Metallica is an example that comes to my mind. I mean, that's a band I love, but true diehard fans, 20 years after the stuff that they think is the best, they don't want to hear anything else other than like that exact thing. So then kind of like, what does the band do? Do they allow that to stifle their creativity? Do they cater to their legit fans? Do they try to make new fans? So yeah, boxing yourself in can yeah, it's an interesting thing that can kind of happen to someone.
I don't think that any career has been broken because of genre change. Like, for example, Linkin Park. I think the fans that they might have lost, they found them in new fans,
Sure.
and honestly, it's as a musician, obviously you have to care about your fans, you have to care about your listeners, but there's a great musician called his name is Victor Wooten, whose music philosophy I just love so much. And he has a saying, not necessarily for this situation, but I think it's applicable. He just says that I care too much, so I don't care.
Hmm.
So it's just basically I'm trying to say that your fans, although they might fall in love with your music, but your music essentially is you. So if you trying to behave depending on what they might think, and you try to please them, I think you will lose more fans than if you take some bold moves and you realize another part of yourself and still make great music, because great music and inspired music is always the best solution in my opinion. that might be the gateway for some people to realize that they are not just into this type of music, but there are some other um, options out there for listening good music.
Absolutely, and
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think that was part of why like we really wanted to speak with you and like have this whole like show with you basically because I mean that's a lot of what we stand for with band brawlers, all these different genres and things that we do with our brand as well. So I mean, yeah, we really felt like when we saw that you were meshing all these genres together, it'd just be the perfect person to speak with, especially like in this case, definitely.
Thank you. It's really just became like a personal thing to me to um, show this way to more people because, as I said, in my opinion, more and more people getting conscious about things and maybe musical things, but sometimes some people they just need a gentle push to be there. And for example, in our concerts with 7 Seconds in the future we do this little game where people can tell us what to do. So they shout in a genre, they shout in imaginary title, so it can be anything like whatever, gray curtains or I don't know. And most likely over the night somebody just shouts in metal, and half of the crowd is just going I don't want that, no. And we just make a joke about it and say that okay, we're gonna do metal, but nobody leaves the room, lock it.
Uh,
And this is the first moment when people are like who likes metal, they kind of understand the joke and they laugh. Who does not like metal, they feel like we understand them, that they might not be into the genre. But by the end of the metal song that we just improvised us on the spot, and one of our singers, he can scream also, okay, they just shout with us. They just headbang and they start to enjoy that power, that raw energy of metal music. And by the end, we just say that it wasn't that bad after all, right? So homework, you go home and listen one metal song. More people just laugh and join into the idea that it's possible that I don't really like a genre, I wouldn't listen to it, but still I enjoy it.
Hmm.
It's just hopefully a thing to mm, open up some people musically.
It's a great sentiment. And also, on the other end of that, like if you are passionate about a specific genre, it doesn't mean that you can't like a little bit from something else either.
Exactly. Just because I like well, vanilla ice cream, coconut is still my favorite. So his coconut is not gonna be mad for me for sometimes getting some vanilla. It's okay.
Right, right.
I think that's an interesting thing to think about though, because so many people look at different genres as like an exclusionary thing, like, oh, this is our crowd, or like, oh, we're going here. Cause a lot of times you'll hear from maybe friends or people like, oh, you're going to see this metal show, that's not really my thing, or oh, metal, oh hell yeah. It's
Mhm.
always gonna be one or the other. But it's weird though, because we tend to treat a lot of genres as like an exclusionary thing when really music brings us together in general.
Well, we kind of gravitate to them, like we find part of our identity in the genres that we listen to. And
I think that's a big part of it. People's personal playlists and how that shapes the type of music they
yeah,
listen to.
it's interesting for sure.
Exactly, and as you said, like we find part of our personality in a genre, and that's why I said before that the more you know yourself, the more kind of music you like, in my opinion, because the more you know yourself, the more first-hand experience you have about that. You have to be open with yourself, you have to be open with others, because your first impression sometimes is not the right impression. And how many of us don't listen to a genre because our first impression was really not a good impression?
Right.
True.
emotionally, or maybe it just wasn't the right time because I was just listening for some beautiful classical music, and a stupid metalhead just came along with a loudspeaker, and he just, wow, put the scream in, and I was like, oh, I hate that. Why? I just listened to Mozart. What the heck is that? You know? And then you may be just label in your head that metal equals something bad that destroys. And we don't even really realize this stuff, but there's also a guy that I listen to a lot, and he's not a musician, but he pointed out a really interesting thing for me. He's called Tony Robbins, and he's got an example saying that if you look around your room, and I say to you that look for red, look for red, look for red. Now close your eyes and name everything that was blue. And you're gonna be like, what? Now look for blue. Oh, there are plenty of blue things there. This is the same with music. If you have that label in your head that metal is destruction and it's not good or whatever, and you listen to a metal song with these in mind, you're gonna find these, definitely. Because everything is yin and yang. Everything has a bright and dark side, definitely. And I see that. But if you listen with an open mind, and maybe with the mind that I want to find something in that particular genre that I might like or that I might enjoy, then you definitely will find it. Because music is awesome. And music is not genres. Music is music. Music is magic. So that's the thing for me.
I'm all about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
On that note, I'd say it's the perfect time to jam.
All right. Okay.
We're gonna mute ourselves on our end so it doesn't echo, and rock on, bro. You're good to go.
All right. See you on the other side. Let's go. Oh, also what I didn't mention, I'm gonna just improvise, just jam, and I'm gonna use also my human beatboxing, some samples, some guitar playing, some synth sounds that I programmed myself. So, well, I'm gonna use everything I have in my arsenal to just show you what's in my head. All right, let's do this.
Just move your body. Don't just move your body.
Come on now.
Just move your body. Don't just move your body.
Come on now.
me now. I face life, I face death, and made it through somehow. Nobody can stop me now. I face life, how? Nobody can stop me now. Nobody can stop me now. I face life, I face death, and I made it through somehow. Nobody can stop me now. I face life, I face death, and I made it through somehow. Nobody can stop me now. I face life, I face death, and I made it through somehow. Nobody can stop me now. Stop me now. Face life, I face death, and I made it through somehow. Nobody can stop me now. I face life, I face death, and I made it through somehow. Nobody can stop me now. I face life, I face death, and I made it through somehow. Nobody can stop me now. I face life, I face death, and I made it through somehow. Nobody can stop me now. That's life. You know, baby, that's life. Baby, that's life. You know, baby, that's life. Baby, that's life. You know, baby, that's life.
that's life. You know, baby, that's life. Baby, that's life. You know, baby, that's life.
Maybe some darker bass. Let's go.
I gave my blood and my sweat and my tears, and it wasn't enough. Nah, it wasn't enough. I gave my blood and my sweat and my tears, and it wasn't enough. Nah, it wasn't enough. I gave my blood and my sweat and my tears, and it wasn't enough. Nah, it wasn't enough. I gave my blood and my sweat and my tears, and it wasn't enough. Nah, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. Gave my blood and my sweat and my tears, and it wasn't enough. Nah, it wasn't enough. I gave my blood and my sweat and my tears, and it wasn't enough. Nah, it wasn't enough. I gave my blood and my sweat and my tears, and it wasn't enough. Nah, it wasn't enough. I gave my blood and my sweat and my tears, and it wasn't enough. Nah, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. Sweat my tears, and it wasn't enough. Nah, it wasn't enough. I gave my blood and my sweat and my tears, and it wasn't enough. Nah, it wasn't enough.
All right, I have time for one last thing. Not even that. Let's go quickly.
You were killing it out there, Kristof. You were doing amazing, bro.
Should I stop?
Okay, one more. If you have time, man, let's do it.
Just one last drop. Just
Alrighty.
one last dirty drop, please. All right, let's go.
The future is now. The future is now. The future and the future is now. The future is now. The future and the future is now. The future is now. The future and the future is now. The future is now. Future is now. Is now.
Wow. Give it up for Kristof from 7 Seconds in the Future.
Incredible.
Wow.
It was off the chain, man.
Epic.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That, I'm speechless.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time to put that together. That was something else.
Nonetheless, to put it together live in front of us, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That's my favorite thing, improvisation. That's, oh my god, I just love that. And this way, as I said, I can just go on for hours and just have fun discovering even farther depths and moods of music. That's what's my life goal, to make a living with that. And I'm just so grateful and happy for music, that there is music for the world, and there is music in our lives. And I really hope more people is gonna come to the same realization that life without music is nothing, and realizing these different vibes, textures, and all of it is just a truly almost like spiritual journey and experience that everybody hopefully will have in their life or already had.
And for those of you out there who need a little bit more music in your life, I think you know where to find it. Kristof from 7 Seconds in the Future. Kristof, this has been a phenomenal time. Thank you for being a part of the show today. We'll definitely stay in touch with you. Of course, we're going to send you a print of the full finished image, as well as a glass painting version of it as well. So by the end of it, it's going to be a collaboration between 4 different artists, actually. So that's all for you guys.
Wow. I really hope that I can get their Instagram or something and get in touch with them, because it's crazy appreciated with the band.
Of course, yeah. We'll send you all the links needed. But Kristof, it's been great having you on here. If there's any last closing words you like to say, anything you like to plug.
I think I'm gonna be just so cheesy and say music is magic. Bye.
All right.
Excellent. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
man.
Kristof.
Best of luck.
That was incredible.
Take care, man. We'll be in touch
Thank you,
soon.
guys. Yes.
Still to come, we have the performance from 47 Eyez On Me. And as we can see right now, they're getting things prepared. If you'd like to see more behind the scenes content and live jam sessions, go ahead and check out our Band Brawlers YouTube channel, where we have a Band Brawlers Backstage Pass playlist. The type of jam sessions you can check out on this channel typically go like this.
They've been trying to keep me out of the first ever Band Brawlers tournament match here, alright? And I'm gonna tell you something, that's not gonna happen. What I have here is going to change the game, all pun intended. Alright, I'm gonna go in here, this is gonna get signed, we're gonna sign the line.
Currently, we have Tima locked out of the building because he is trying to get in and he is trying to sabotage this very first qualifying match.
They think that's gonna keep me out.
The players are ready for their match. Let's get onto the field. And it's time for the first ever Band Brawlers World Championship qualifier match. The rules of a Band Brawlers match are simple. The first player to get their full band ensemble of 4 onto the field wins the game. Alright gentlemen, I want a fair fight here. This is the first ever Band Brawlers qualifying match. Go ahead, shake hands. May the best Band Brawlers player win.
Draw 4.
Both competitors drawing their initial 4 cards.
Alright, you go first.
Nothing.
That sucks for you.
Oh.
Drums.
He put down a drums.
As you can hear the drum beat in the background right now, J.R.C. seems to be jamming out in the building right now. Do you have a response, Sin Silva? He did produce this drum track that we're hearing in the background right now.
Yep. My BPM against his drums.
Oh. Well, that's going to be an interesting situation. As he puts the BPM into play, we know folks at home who are not familiar with this gameplay here, that is now going to be in effect on his drum card. When that goes out of tune, your BPM will get discarded.
Okay.
Alright, so I just drew. Can I also put down?
What do you got?
I'm going to put down my singer.
Oh, interesting response here. J.R.C. putting down his singer with his drums. This is not looking good for Sin Silva. He only needs 2 more instruments on field before he can win this. He could win this in the next 2 turns, folks. We'll find out soon.
That'll be a very quick game.
It would be. It would be very, almost faster than the one that might have happened or might not have happened before this recording. Oh, it responds with the guitar card. Interesting to have another completely different instrument on the field right now. It's almost like 2 different songs are being made from metal and from a completely different genre.
Right? Crossover, it's crazy.
every bar from the brain, I spit it candidly. The team right behind me is a team that you can't defeat. Giving new meaning to insanity. The beach is where I plan to be with my family. From my first day to my last night, every night is just like last night. Over here there ain't no bad night. See my wrist be on that flashlight twinkling. I see my past life now. Yeah, now we on a different path, but it's no choice. When you feel the same shade from the
Okay. Now go ahead. Sin Silva respond over here. Ooh, no. Oh, whatever. Looks like he's plotting. He's scheming out here. What is it? The bass. That's a good card. Damn, he's really shredded out here with this guitar and bass right now. J.R.C, of course, having to put another card away into his tuning zone. Not looking like a good situation though, because it's kind of looking like if those come back, he might have more cards on the field by the time that they come back. Because those might go to the tuning zone with that. Interesting choice here. He decides to reload his cards. And now this is going to be interesting because that of course sets the count back to 0 on the field. Well, he only needs one more instrument until he can win this. How will Sin Silva respond? Oh, Distortion, folks, is the most offensive card in the game.
I think so.
It wipes out your opponent's whole field. It's pretty dirty, honestly, no matter what you got attached to your cards. Oh.
Ooh. The guitar.
The guitar is out here.
What really
The world may never know. Well, this is supposed to be your Tuesday now, sir. This goes out too. Yeah, there you go. Alright, so you're gonna turn the music down on his side while it is still out there. Now, until it goes out of tune. Once it goes out of tune, that will no longer be in effect. But as of now, the music on his side is turned down, which is not looking good for J.R.C. because he can't bring any instruments out of his hand if he has any. But of course he doesn't because they're in the tuning zone.
Oh. Let's see what his next course of action is. Seems like he's scheming, he's plotting.
Yep. Interesting response. Yes, that now protects your guitar. Solo is, of course, the most defensive card in the game. When you attach it to an instrument, it stops it from the tuning phase going into effect. So now that guitar is just going to be soloing on. It's not going to go out of tune. He's good.
Strategy.
It's good for him to hang on to that. Who knows how long he was really hanging on to that card. And Sin Silva makes his side louder than J.R.C's. This is going to be interesting because, unlike, well, I hate to break it to you, Sin Silva, his stuff just kind of came out of the tuning zone this turn. I know it might have caught you off guard here. It was a dramatic stop, but he's got everything on the field. I think you know what this means.
Yeah, you know, I'll admit it. You're better than me at this one.
That's all, folks.
Did you have a response?
Thanks.
And J.R.C. moves on. The undefeated streak lives on. Now, J.R.C., of course, you said that you weren't originally going to be competing in this tournament. Does that mean that even though you've moved on in this match, are you actually going to be in the bracket, or are you just going to watch from the sidelines and keep your undefeated streak?
You know, a part of me would love to go home undefeated, 1 win, no losses. But another part of me just craves that feeling of victory. That feeling that I just had is unbeatable.
It's an addiction, man. It's
Like
crazy.
this loser right here, never saw it coming. That's all I gotta say.
Trash talk here.
Some banter going on.
Well, then we'll make it official. J.R.C. is the first competitor to move on in the first ever Band Brawlers World Championship. Folks, we'll see you, of course, as the Band Brawlers World Championship qualifiers come your way in 2022. More details to come soon. Thank you for joining us so far, seeing this demonstration of the very first Band Brawlers match. And let's throw it back to the jams.
What we came here to do. Now we ain't come here to lose. Try to put yourself in our shoes. Know we got everything to prove. Yeah, know what we came here to do. Now we ain't come here to lose. Try to put yourself in our shoes. Yeah, got everything to prove. Fuck with all the things they assume. Yeah, gratitude ain't giving. I've been chilling from the start. Why they talking all that shit? Yeah, make us drift apart. But I'm hardly out of my element. Give me a felony for this assault, yeah. Y'all stick with houses, yeah, I'm trying to build a resort, yeah. I'm talking way up top, I bring my bros, my dad, and my mom. Can it be real? This whole shit came about from 21 songs. No bother myself or whether or not they listen and singing along. Just pass the baton, yeah. Pass it along, yeah. I feel the pain, maintain the state of calm, yeah. Chillin' with Zen, magnetic, there's so much thunder, no one can steal, but we harvest it like it's a farm, yeah. Thoughts fertilize the growth of my fan from my palms, yeah. I'm not a pawn in this game, but you know better. I'm not at all what you say, you should know better. I'm not insane, it's just the weight on my shoulders. No, came here to do. Now we ain't come here to lose. Try to put yourself in a... Know we got everything to prove. Yeah, know what we came here to do. Now we ain't come here to lose. Try to put yourself in our shoes. Yeah, got everything to prove. Yeah, just another day, just another night, just another time. Floating up just one more time. I grind it down to the bone cause I'm bona fide. It ain't over till it's over the moon. I'm talking overtime. Too many times where the diamonds, yeah, keep searching through the roughest times. Including my past, wonder how I survived through the toughest climb. Now I'm 27 hours, but it's close. Keep my arm, but my armor was a joke. Had no fit, but I wrote. Made me riches and nobody around me has seen before. And they wonder why I chose to get no job, to maintain brokenness, to maintain focus. Many people around you tired to get their ass and make that dope, yeah. Talking way too real. Now no 9 to 5, only expensive meals, yeah. No more stressing about your life or your bills, yeah. That's a dream, it's not too far away, you feel it. Know what we came here to do. Yeah, now we ain't come here to lose. Try to put yourself in our shoes. Yeah. Got everything to prove. Yeah, know what we came here to do. Now we ain't come here to lose. Try to put yourself in our shoes. Yeah, got everything to prove. Yeah, focus on making money moves. Yeah, focus on making money moves. Yeah, focus on making money moves. Focus on making, yeah, focus on making money moves. Yeah, focus on making money moves. Focus on making money moves. Take it over next. Now we came here to do. I ain't come here to lose. Now we came here to do. We ain't come here to lose. No. We come here to. We ain't come here to lose. Now we came here to do. I ain't come here to lose. Now we came here to do. I ain't come here to lose. Got everything to prove. Got everything to prove. Got everything to prove.
Coming up next, we have a very special interview and live performance from recording artists under the label 47 Eyez On Me. Take it away, guys.
Alright, is it going? Okay. 3, 2. I appreciate all y'all coming out tonight. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. I hope all
we're here live with Ross Holm. How are you doing?
Doing phenomenal. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. Thank you for joining this broadcast tonight. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of have I feel like we just got to get into this. We kind of have an interesting background and story to how we got connected with you, how we know you. And that really kind of comes off the back of this thing we see on my face right now.
Yeah, I'd say that mask a little familiar to me. I feel like I've seen that mask before.
I wonder where. I don't know. So for those who are unaware, Ross Holm, of course, he used to, I say, like, basically you created the first ever live backyard wrestling show. The first backyard wrestling show to ever be streamed live, to ever have pay-per-views. You were basically the pioneer for that at the time, if I'm correct.
Yeah. There was a couple other ones of us that were doing it at the time hard, and we really pride on being the best at it. So I think we had a good time.
Yeah, I mean, of course, like, there's so much that's happened throughout this like journey. I know that you run a company, Local Boy DJ, that works with like events and concerts. Could you walk us through like some of the stuff you do?
Yeah, so after SNR wrestling, me and Stevie were seniors in high school, and we were like, hey, what do we want to do next? And so we actually pursued pro wrestling. We went to Chicago, we started training, and we had matches there. Believe it or not, Damian Sandow was at our first Chicago show, wrestling there. So it was, we got in the ring and we met all the wrestlers, and we figured out, the hard part is at that point, we were already doing music. And so we realized, like, man, this industry is hard, like, to the fact where all of our heroes are limping, like they are like, and so we got a real crash course into it. And we, at that time, were doing wrestling shows and we were doing music. And me and Stevie both looked at each other and we were like, listen, we get the same adrenaline rush being on stage, except we don't have to get the ice packs out at the end of the night. And so we shifted our momentum at that time. And, music and wrestling are so intertwined to me. They're entertaining a crowd and connecting with them. And so that's what started all of that. But we decided, hey, if once SNR wrestling, we want to do that only in high school. We're like, hey, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it full time. We're going to go become professional wrestlers. And when that became pretty obvious that it just wasn't what we wanted to do at that time, me and Stevie decided to pack up the car and we moved out here to California, and we've been out here ever since. And we moved out here for opportunity because we came from a very small town of 4,000 people, and we just really wanted more. And I had never been to California. I'd never really, been able to venture off on my own and make something of myself. So we came out here, we started doing shows right away. And it wasn't too long until I started getting inquiries from people wanting to book me to do other services outside of me just performing. And I had a pretty good background already in customer service and understanding what the client needs and being able to put my ego to the side. And that is what really catapulted the beginning of Local Boy and allowed us to just find our niche, get in with events, and we started just off and running. And before you know it, Local Boy started doing better and better. And now I've been doing Local Boy full time since 2012, I would say. And it's allowed me, the cool part is Local Boy allows me to pursue all my projects outside of there that I still want to, but then that is my 9 to 5, as you would describe it, that kind of that work that I do to help supplement and allow me to do all the other passion projects that I have. But it's worked out so well. It's so close to what I already do. And that I now get to do a lot of events that I love. So it's so similar to me performing live as Arcadia Smith, to me performing back as Rasta Man. Like, it's all that same formula. It's just a matter of understanding who your audience is in front of you. But yeah, that's where it started. That's where it's been. And now we're good. We're off to the races. We got a building here on the property now. We built our own warehouse, and we're set up for the long haul with Local Boy. And it's allowed me to get back in and centered on some of these other projects I want to do next.
And speaking of those other projects and building things, of course, you have a YouTube channel, Life at Home, which is like HGTV worthy quality right there. Like, you're literally setting up building a manufactured home from the ground up.
Yeah.
What got you into that too? That feels like a whole detour from everything else.
Yeah. So the time actually came in 2017. I had created a software company and it was doing well. And we got to this point where I decided to sell it. And when that happened, I said, hey, do I want to stick around in Cali longer, or do I want to go do something somewhere else completely different? And it was so obvious. I was like, don't leave right now, because you've built Local Boy up for this moment to just cash in your chips and enjoy, because we busted butt I did local boy for 5 years where I was never able to cash my own paycheck, but I had 10, 20 employees out working and we were bringing in revenue. So it was like we had worked all this time and it was like, we're here. So we need to be here to stick around. And when that happened, I was like, well, if we're going to stick around here, we need to first get rid of the downtown office because that thing is bleeding overhead. And so I was like, let's get rid of that. And I was like, and at that time I sold a house in Cali. And so I was like, I want to put it all into one basket. And I wanted to learn, like I learned how to build a house. I wanted to learn what was entailed with everything from electrical to plumbing to walls to, I wanted to know. And I built tree forts always as a kid. I just love it. I love building stuff. And so it was what I wanted to do next. And I was like, this will be my investment property and my big next project. And so we bought this property and it wasn't anything to really, too exciting at first, but it was a big lot for California. You know, it was over 2 acres out here. And I saw the opportunity with it of how to really build it out. And so that's exactly what we started doing. And we started building it one step at a time. And before you know it, we have the local boy warehouse. And then before you know it, I mean, this is the house that I built that I'm in right now, the back house. And it just kept building. But then I started having, you know, a lot of people in my ear and they were saying, hey, Ross, like, how are you doing this? Like, what is going on behind the scenes that's allowing you to pull all this off? And I was like, oh, well, it's a lot of things. It's the credit system over here. It's being able to set up your company this way. It's all these. And I just had a lot of people on my ear saying, we would love for you should make a podcast is what they said first. And I was like, I like podcasts. I was like, but I like film even more than podcasts. And so I was like, I would love to do a series where basically the whole point of it to me is like, if I died today, that's the story. That's the legacy. That's the true, transparent, this is what happened and this is how I did it. And it's that like, whenever anyone wants to know what happened, they can just watch that and they'll get all caught up to speed on it. And that's what started all of Life at Home. And it's been a fun side project, like you mentioned, because it's very different. It's very HD TV like. But we set it up right. We have all the rights to all the music. All the episodes are stationed off. So that way in the future, they can actually be re-syndicated on a thing like a Netflix. Or our whole goal with it was to get picked up by a TLC or some kind of HD TV to where mom back home in the Midwest can watch it right on her cable TV. And so that's our next goal with it. And we've built it with that in mind. We own all the music. We have all the footage as our own copyrights. And not only that, but like everything you've seen so far was before we even decided that we wanted to do Life at Home. And so I had to create the backstory to get people to understand what led us to even that. And that's where we're even at right now. So I have hard drives, like, 20 terabytes worth of footage from the past 2.5 years now that we've been filming Life at Home every day. And now it's getting more into a vlog style where there's not so much photos that are having to carry the story. And I'm looking really forward to getting into the nitty gritty on stuff. Our local boy business got broken into. We're doing a special episode on that, kind of like the dark side of the ring, like where I can get into my life and like find all the crazy moments that happen and put a spotlight on them and show them off. And so we have that. We're going to be doing stuff with the property where my credit score went from a 800 down to a 500 in a matter of a month. And then how that happened, how I got it back up, how we pulled it all off. And it's just like, there's a lot in there. And it's been fun. It's a little passion project.
That's awesome, man.
Very cool.
Just the way that all came together. And even like the editing style, like does feel like an HDTV show already. So you're on your way, man.
Thank you. We're getting there slowly but surely. You know how it goes. It's a lot of work to just to get the screenshots ready to the copyrights now are insane on YouTube. They were never like this 10 years ago.
It's even worse on Twitch. On Twitch, there's a whole DMCA issue. I don't know if you're familiar with this. A lot of streamers,
I don't.
They can't even play GTA anymore sometimes because you play that on the radio. Suddenly their stream gets taken down because all the music that's in the game. And this happens to a lot of people who play like almost any game, like menu music that's in a game that just gets the whole stream taken down.
I don't get it, as an artist, as a person who's on both sides of it, as a DJ, as a film, who's on all of it.
Yeah.
It's free promo. Let it out there. That's not like, if you're worried about a homeboy on Twitch having some fun, like your focus is wrong. Like get out there and just keep creating. I hate all this copyright stuff, man. I get why some of them are in place, but it's too much of a stranglehold in us as creators, where sometimes, I'm sure you guys know, you'll spend so much time trying to get around that copyright, that all of a sudden now your creative energy is gone for the day. So that's what I hate about it, if I have to be honest.
Oh yeah, I think that's why we pivoted from being like that anime channel for a little bit, because we had so many different copyright issues with just trying to break down fight scenes from shows, and like we got really in depth. We did so much editing, breaking down these scenes like they were a boxing match with points and a scorecard and everything. And it was too much work for something that would just keep getting taken down. So like I know what you mean by like the struggle of making content online with copyright.
So discouraging. You're just like, I hate it, man. I hope it'll lead us to a better path. It's a weird landscape. Our company, Local Boy, has 500,000 followers on TikTok, and on TikTok, I'm a DJ, so I'm playing everyone else's music. But if I try and do that same formula on Shorts on YouTube, ding ding, none of it works. So it's so weird on the landscape of how these guys enforce this rule, but then over here it's not enforced, or you're just. It leaves me very stuck. Even with SNR Wrestling, I tried to do SNR on TikTok. Every one of them gets taken down because of acts of dangerous acts. So,
of course, they don't want backyard wrestling on TikTok.
I can't get. I'm just stuck sometimes over here. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll have Local Boy on there. I'll have SNR Wrestling on Instagram Reels, and then it's just like, but we're stuck. What else can we do? You know, we're creators, so.
It's amazing that you've even managed to archive all of that. Because I know, like, when I talked to you about how, with the history of how I got this mask from you, and like how like you and your brother used to play this character with this mask, and you were just like, "Oh yeah, I have all that footage." I was like, "What?" He just instantly like showed me you already had like everything archived, still after all these years of all these shows, and that's impressive because that was a long time ago. That's back before Twitch TV was even called Twitch TV, because I believe it was Justin.tv at the time.
Yeah, Justin.tv, and then I think it changed to Ustream, bought them out, and full circle. Yeah, Justin.tv was the spot, man, back in the day. I love Justin.tv and early internet, man. This was early, you know, we were the first ones I saw on YouTube that's the whole reason we blew up on YouTube with SNR, is because Stevie lived in Cali, and I had made a video showing him how I was building a trampoline wrestling ring, and I just wanted him to see it out in California, and I sent it to him, and all of a sudden it started getting a couple thousand views, and I was like, what is this? Like, it was like just such a like exciting moment where, like, you know, little town Ross, who I'm telling you, man, 50 kids from first grade to graduation, like a very small town. It was just so cool to see people responding to what we were doing and to get the ball rolling on it. But yeah, it's been an evolution for sure.
So you're still a fan of wrestling, of course. We mentioned before we went on air, co-host Ben here. I'm sorry, co-host Sin Silva here. He mentioned before that he saw Full Gear and actually attended live. Did you watch Full Gear this past weekend?
I 100% watched it, and I think I might even be a bigger fan than he is. Like, boys, look at this. Let me go out in my living room so you guys can see just what is happening. I love AEW. So this is my living room. Okay, I don't know if you see this up here. That's the entire Unrivaled collection up there. That's the new ones right there with my boy Lance, who fucking landed on his neck. Like, you know, so I love AEW, love it. And I think if anything, it was because there had been such a time, you guys know, in wrestling, where we were hungry, man. We were just like, this is it. This is all we got is this one product. And when AEW came back in,
it provided the wrestling that we've been asking for as legitimate fans for years and weren't getting. And now it's here. And it just gets better and better. It's
I'm loving it.
Very exciting.
I'm like the biggest fan I've ever been of wrestling right now. Or it like reignited all my. I used to be WCW guy, and then when 99 hit, I switched over to WWF and started riding that bandwagon. And then I love TNA. I watched Impact from 2000. As soon as it came out, I was like, oh, this is cool, Impact, And then that fizzled. We saw what happened there, and then it was like. And then AEW, and I started the rumblings. I've been following the Young Bucks. I've been all that stuff. So Young Bucks are just a city over from me. So I've met them a couple times. So it's I love it, man. And AEW is where it's at. I can't wait to see.
Absolutely.
Have you ever been to one of the shows live?
Boys, I have not. You guys are on the East Coast, which AEW seems to love. And me being West Coast, they've came to Vegas, but when they came last time, it didn't line up with my schedule. I had some other conflicting stuff, but they haven't been anywhere else closer to me. And so I'm waiting for their West Coast tour, and then I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna be there for sure.
Nice.
It definitely sounds like it's gonna be worth it, man. And yeah, to add to what he was saying, like something about the product just feels way more organic than anything we've ever seen, like by stuff like WWE, where it's like overly character driven. In AEW, it feels like people are just allowed to be their own character that they want to come up with themselves. And you see, it's a dramatic difference between the two products, just in the way that they speak, all the promos, just everything.
The creativity belongs to the artists, and it's not a staff of writers. It's not corporate stuff. It's none of that. And it's just as awesome as we all knew it could be.
Yeah, I agree. And having Tony Khan backing it, like, and all of everything that comes with that, like, it's beautiful. I just love watching it. And it's so cool too to take an old fan and show them AEW now, and to be like, hey, check this out. And to watch them just be like I literally watched. I did it with Stevie. Stevie had never watched AEW, brought him over, showed him, and he just was like, now he's a hooked fan, you know. So it's such a product that like can make an old fan excited, you know, and that's what's so cool about it to me, and all the just everything. And my boy Sting is there. Sting's my favorite wrestler of all time. So I mean, I hated what WWE did with him, and how you know, just the way he went out was so sad to me. And so to see this, where he's able to come back there and do it on his terms and not be having to break his neck every night, you know, so I love it. I'm so happy with, like, I love it. It gives me the Full Gear pay-per-view was on my calendar as my highlight of the month, you know, so I was just like ecstatic to see it happen. And I'm jealous that you got to go there, to be honest with you. Super jealous.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was your favorite match on the card, if you could say?
You know what? I thought that MJF, right in that first match, like that those two boys just tore the house down when they came out there. I loved Hangman's match. I really did. It really stood out a lot to me. And then, you know, I love the Young Bucks and I love their match. I think, honestly, I don't know. I kind of feel like MJF and them kind of stole the show in the beginning. They really set the pace for the show, and they just I like that one, but that was like the whole pay-per-view was great. That's the thing about AEW. Every match is good. So
well, it's funny. So I was there with my friend, and we were kind of going down all the matches and stuff down the card. We were looking at it, and I was like, damn, normally, like, if this was a WrestleMania or anything, you'd be like, okay, well, these matches are where it's time to go get a beer, like go to the bathroom. And like at Full Gear, I was like, man, like, this is going to be difficult. Like, when am I going to go get my concessions? And which is awesome. Cause like, that's foreign to me as someone who's followed WWE for like the last 20 years before this was born.
Yeah. What a great problem to have. Right. I've gone to so many WWE shows, you know, and it's to a point now where I must say it, like, I don't go to SmackDowns anymore because every time they do it to me, they play me, man. I go to those shows and they're lackluster. They advertise people that don't show up. And then the wrestling is horrible. Like, it's just like,
it's hard to
I go to them and I'm like, man, that big 20th anniversary they had for SmackDown, you know, when they came to Fox, we all went to that one, and it was really not a good show. It was super short. It had they advertised that Undertaker and King are going to be there. Never saw him. It was just like, we were just, I don't know, man. I'm so happy. AEW, thank you. Just happy you're here.
Yeah. I think
money.
Something that could be said about making a product that's for the fans. And that's really what they're trying to do. Like, that's what's reigniting the passion in the wrestling industry right now. And that's, I mean, hey, props to them, man, because they've only been around for like 3 years. I'm excited to see where this goes, bro.
Yeah, they're making leaps and bounds. I really hope soon, you know, they have a lot of attention on cable TV, and I hope they just ditch that. It's not the 90s anymore. Like, I get it. TNT is cool. TBS is cool, but like, I would rather have a streaming app from them and have them start focusing on almost getting away from traditional TV. I just don't think the eyes are there as often anymore. But I just look forward to, like, it's a marathon, you know, it's not a sprint. These guys got to perform every night forever. Right. And so it really is that long haul plan. And it looks like they are just like stacking it up. And I think the only reason that WWE is quote unquote beating him in the ratings is because they've been on forever. How many people have that show TiVo that they never watch it, that they're just collecting those stats every week? And so I think when it comes to wrestling fans, it's overwhelming that the whole noise, all the audience is AEW. And then you just got kind of these, I don't even think there's really any hype around WWE, maybe more worldwide in some markets, but in the States, nothing. They can't hold a candle to AEW right now. I don't think as far as momentum and hype and
passion,
excitement.
Yeah.
So.
But shifting gears just for a second here, I mean, you did mention, of course, you go under a different name for your music work. You want to bring up anything related to that we can link people to?
Yeah, definitely. So Arcadia Smith is my music persona. As you know, with you with the mask, it's so fun to have multiple personas and to be able to kind of dive into those. And that's what I learned from pro wrestling, from backyard wrestling. I carried that same thing over to music, was like, make characters, make these people that are a little different than Ross, that you can get away with stuff that allows you to amp that up and turn it up. And that's what Arcadia is. And Arcadia has been great. I just started Arcadia not that long ago. I took a pretty lengthy break from music when I was getting Local Boy established. And now that we're back in it, it's been doing really well. I released an album this year called Memory Lane. It already brought in, I think, 70,000 streams on Spotify, which was just nice to see and something to build off of. And now I have a movie that I filmed for. It's called Memory Lane, the movie. And I actually filmed a music video for all 10 tracks. And that's going to be released each week in a 10-week release cycle. It's coming real soon. I just got to get that first song I gotta get done. I have every other video like ready to rock, but I got to finish up some stuff on the first one. And that's a really fun story because it's music, but it tells a bigger story. And again, it can be put on a platform like a Hulu or like a Netflix, because it's going to be 70 minutes to 80 minutes. And it tells a fluid story where you could watch each video or you could watch the whole thing, and it tells a much broader thing. So that's really fun. And then music still is a big passion of mine. I just love it I have fun with it. I'm sure you guys have similar things in wrestling and all the other areas that are just fun for you. And that's what music is. There was a while there, when I was trying to make a living off of it. And like when I first moved to Cali, and that's when music, it wasn't so fulfilling to me. It became more of a job, and it became more of a, every day I had to be that person. And it became, so it's so great now to where, again, just to where, I'll put it this way, Local Boy pays the bills. So that way Arcadia Smith doesn't have to make $1, but can just have fun. I can create what I want to create and not have to do it for anybody else. And like, I'm not a person of vain or really of like center of attention. It doesn't feed my ego or like fill my soul. I'm kind of like you. I love being behind a mask and just kind of like being behind the scenes, but playing my part.
Creative.
And so you feel me? Yeah. And so that's same kind of thing with Arcadia. Like it's such a fun thing for me, but there's not much pressure involved with it. And with that, I have, I think, 6 or 7 more albums that are finished right now, that are mixed and mastered, that are like ready to go. And they're all my favorite ones. I have an album with Stevie. I have an album with my other brother, Louie. And so it's such a cool place now to where it's on my own terms. Is how I would describe it, And so it's really doing well. Basically it comes down to if you want to listen to some music in the car and want to hear a new artist, go on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you want, look up Arcadia Smith, and you'll hear a whole catalog there. If you're looking for the home improvement stuff and, you and your girlfriend want to sit down and watch YouTube for the night, that's where Life at Home comes in handy. So it's like, go watch some Life at Home content there. And all these things are kind of starting to intertwine full circle. We're seeing it, and it's just going to keep on doing that, really. So over here, so we have, this is back, look at this date, June 20th of 2008 is when this happened. And so we're in the backyard.
This is old school.
Stevie Dub coming out. So Stevie hits the ring. And Stevie starts telling, he had a really big feud with Vanity, who was my heel character. He had red hair. He would wear the red do-rag if things were too crazy that day and had too many matches. And he was just a heel, a really bad guy. And he was going against Steve Weezy. And Steve Weezy was trying to set up this big match with him. So out comes Vanity. And Vandy basically tells him, he's like, listen, he's like, I'm not coming out there to face you. I got somebody who's going to come face you, introducing you to Vitality. So Vitality gets introduced as the right-hand man to Vanity. You know, the way I would describe it is like the way that like Kenny Omega has all of his right-hand men in the elite. This was who Vitality was. He was one of the he was his only partner. He was his guy who would allow him to do stuff behind the scenes and be a bad guy. And so he starts coming out.
Running out now.
They start having a big feud right away.
Brawling it out already. Steve Weezy has a lot of anger and aggression.
I think it's smart.
And behind the scenes, like I told him, it really happened because Brett is my brother in real life. And me and Brett, when we were very little, we were the original SNRs, you want to call it. We would wrestle on the trampoline. And when it came time to start getting bigger, me and Brett started having rifts and we're no longer friends. And me and Stevie became friends and started wrestling. And Brett, as we got bigger in high school and SNR wrestling started becoming a little bit bigger, he said, hey, I want to come join back again. And so we brought him back in and it was great because there was real tension there. Our beef was real. We actually had animosity behind the scenes. And so when he came back in, we were like, how the heck can I get him in a bunch of matches to where he's getting training and we can get him ready to go against the Rasta man, ready to go against our main eventers at the pay-per-view. And so we developed Vitality, and that was Brett under there. And he got the experience. He did like 12 matches after that. So there was that match. We would put him against the Rasta man. Here he is.
This is amazing. That still have this.
Wow.
He would be going against, you know, this is at the pay-per-view. He would go against Steve Weezy for the number one contender, the SNR world title. But there's your mask right there, my guy. That's it.
There it is.
You know, there's the white around the eyes, everything. And then it just built from there. He got bigger and bigger. And that's your boy. There's your Vitality right there behind the scenes for you.
It's cool to see the footage of that too.
Yep.
Like,
Oh, I got you guys back. Yeah, we're gonna be going through that. You asked about footage. We have a lot of footage, boys. I have all my footage. I've really been a guy who I love computers. I grew up on computers. You can see I'm a tech nerd, guys. So I have everything from my first phone backed up and sorted. I go through once a week and I do sorting. It's not fun, but it allows me to be able to pull stuff up like that. And I have all my stuff from my original computers, all of our original hard drives, all of the old, all the old stuff was filmed on Sony Vegas, on Pinnacle, and Ulead. I don't know if you ever heard of those video editing softwares.
Oh yeah, those were like the starters.
Long before the days of today. Yeah, it used to be a lot of work. But boys, if we need to wrap it, if you got another guy ready, you can bring it home if you need to.
Well, hey, you plugged, of course, where to find you on Spotify, where to find your Life at Home series on YouTube, and of course, Local Boy DJ for any future bookings. Ross, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you for also providing the archive footage so people can like really see where this came from. That was really cool of you. I'm glad you gave us your time today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. I'll send you over some JPEGs so you have some
That's cool. That'd be awesome, bro.
Yeah, heck yeah. I appreciate it. Oh, we got a dog in the back. Look at this one over here.
I think that's the perfect way to end the segment. What do you think?
Yeah.
That brand not fed like me. Did it by myself, don't you see? Messing with a lone wolf. You got a lone wolf. I'll chase, I'll hunt, I'll eat. Did it by myself, don't you see? I'm messing with a lone wolf. You got a lone wolf.
You should be scared. I'm aiming to kill. Goosebumps forming, man. I'm giving them chills. This is not a drill. You just a clown thinking it. I'm being for real, man. I ain't overthinking it. They hit me up like, okay, I love it. These rappers think they killing it, but I don't think they bluff it. I'm OJ whipping in a Bronco. I ain't in no sunken place, but I love me some Blanco. Women, I'm Jack the Ripper with it. Mutilating victims. Who my latest victim? Fuck with me, then you my latest victim. Yes, woken, broken, I'm outspoken. All of the above, so take precautions while approaching. Jeez, real cozy all the grease. I want it all, I ain't saving you a piece. Nah, call a rev, call a doc, call a priest, call whoever you want. Just know I won't ever keep the peace.
Oh, Vladimir Koloff, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
Oh, we can hear you, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'd say we're doing all right. co-host here, we mentioned earlier on the show, came back from seeing AEW over the weekend at Full Gear. And we've just been enjoying, the world of pro wrestling and seeing what's going on. I'm sure you know a lot about that. You're a very busy man. You've been in some title matches I've been hearing about.
Absolutely. I've been in title matches this Saturday night. I will be in a tournament here in the South called the Great Southern 8. It will be a one-night tournament, and in order to win, I have to go through 3 opponents that night, and I guarantee I will be the victor of said tournament.
That's got a lot of confidence going into that one. Now, of course, there's also another thing that's approaching. I think this is, for a lot of people online, this is some of their favorite content you produce, sir. And that of course, is the 25 Days of Koloff.
That's right, the 25 Days of Koloff starting December 1st and every single day until Christmas itself. The big bad Vladdy Claus himself will celebrate 25 Days of Koloff and bring the gift of more Koloff to everyone.
Well, that's a wonderful gift to be brought, but maybe not directly. I wouldn't want to face that, but I will tell you this. I've seen some of your matches. I see you've been traveling a lot. Walk us through. I mean, we never really know what it's like to travel as a pro wrestler. You got any interesting stories on the road, encounters you met?
I will tell you a recent one. So a few weeks ago, I was driving and I was pulled over by a police officer, and he informed me I was speeding. I never speed. I believe he was lying. Nevertheless, as I was going to give him the rental information and what have you, you could hear him over the intercom that he had. You could hear someone telling him that shots were fired and that someone was shot and all this crazy stuff. So as I'm handing him this stuff, he just looks at me and says, "Sir, be careful, have a nice night," and took off quickly. Got out of that one big time.
Really got out of that one.
But it's a lot of miles, it's a lot of hours, it's lonely on the road. Oh, but it definitely pays off that weekend night whenever you have that wrestling match.
And training for a wrestling match, I mean, for the caliber of title fights you've been fighting for, it must be a tough time, I'm assuming.
It is basically 24/7 mental and physical. You do as much ring training as possible. I train twice a week in a ring. Then, of course, you've got your gym, you've got your diets, you've got the mental aspect of it all, which is being prepared for that, not to overwhelm yourself with everything that's about to happen. And then, like this weekend, for instance, I could have up to 3 matches in one night to win this tournament. So, that definitely a lot of preparation in hand.
I would imagine it's multiple competitors you have to prep to face. I mean, I've known firsthand, no pun intended, just from how training can go and how injuries could happen in this luchador lifestyle.
You look banged up. By the way, nice mask. I like mine better, but not bad.
Well, yeah, yours is pretty nice. I do know that you have a lot of colors. I wasn't really feeling the pink one. Kind of reminded me of Pepto-Bismol, but that's okay.
Whoa. Don't insult my favorite color, pink.
Well, I mean, okay, it was better than the purple one. The purple one made you look like Barney.
Okay, you're testing your luck now, sir.
Well, no, excuse me. I'm just, we're just having some fun banter here, right? You insult my mask, I insult yours,
Well, fun banter and all, but, you're making this Russian sickle arm awful itchy. Awful itchy.
Oh.
I need to stretch,
Well, let's not go there.
Make me go there. All right. I've had enough. Excuse me, Zach. I've had enough. All right. I've been trying all night to get in here. All right. I need everyone's here. Everyone's present that I need. I need you to sign this. All right. I've had enough. I've been trying for hours. Every minute felt like
we were going to be
days.
doing this later,
Okay,
not now.
okay.
We're in the
That's
middle
not-
of an
yeah.
interview.
We're gonna do it now. All right. We're doing it now. All right. You've been talking to Vladdy Daddy how long now? All right.
Vladdy Daddy, that's what you call him?
Yeah, look at him. Look at the man. He's fine Russian material right there. All right. You wouldn't know anything about that. All right. look, right here, the contract. I need a signature on that. All right, I need the John Hancock right there. You see the line to sign. That's what I need right now.
And this is
why I'm here.
And this is to face you. You do realize what this means.
Just sign it so we can get him out of here. We gotta
That's it.
continue
And
on
I'll
with
leave.
this.
I'll leave. All right, you
Give
take
me-
enough of his
give me
time.
the pen.
I
I'm
want a little more
right-handed,
action,
but
all right?
I'll sign my left. There's the.
Right here.
Oh,
See,
wow.
the eyes don't work,
Thank
the
you for
hand
that.
does.
Yeah,
No, take a look.
Appreciate
all right?
that.
The line to sign right there.
Actually, it's in here. I thought you knew that.
Take a look.
Okay.
There you go.
Uh-huh.
There you go. I see the hand works decently.
Okay. Yeah, my hand works all right.
Yeah.
It hurts a little bit, but there you go.
Thank you. All
All
right.
right, please let us finish now. We got.
Thank
we
you.
have
I
shit
think
to
I
take
think
care
I
of.
have everything I want. All right. I got you. All right. It may take an all day.
You got him. What do you mean you got him?
Enough questions. All right. Thank you.
What was
All right,
on that?
Let's get back to this.
What was on that contract?
I don't know. He's gone now, though.
Do you know something about this?
As a matter of fact, I do, comrade. He's right. I do got you. You see, what you just signed there is not a match with him, not a match with that idiot to your right. It's a match with me. You want to step into that ring so badly? Now's your chance. So I am looking forward to hearing face to face. Right?
Did you know about this?
No.
He knew about it. We booked him for the show.
Who set this up?
Where did Timo go? Timo was just here. I signed. Hey, you know what? You know what?
Quit laughing. You know what? You just got to train and get in the ring and whoop this guy's ass.
Well, I'm gonna need time. I'm gonna need time. But you know what? I'll accept. So whether or not that actually holds up in court as an actual contract, I will accept. And you know what? I will challenge you, Vladimir Koloff, but it's gonna be on my terms. I challenge you at the first ever Band Brawlers qualifier tournament. And if you win, then his band will qualify for the tournament.
Well, then consider it done, comrade. Consider the match done. Consider the beating that you're about to experience done. Consider his team qualified. Because congratulations, you need more Koloff.
You got this.
I don't think I do.
You will.
Got something right.
Dude, what are you gonna do?
What do you mean? What am I gonna do? What? I'm gonna have to fight him, obviously. Like, so smug. Go ahead and be smug, Koloff. Go ahead.
While you're taking all that time, put some muscle on you. Don't make it too easy.
Oh, we're gonna go there, right? Yeah. Put some muscle on the luchador.
Slip around with that stupid mask of yours.
Oh, okay. All right.
Spider-Man.
Oh, well, hey, this kind of reminds me of Spider-Man. I get you in there. But hey, that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is that you're on. And I will face you next year at the Band Brawlers qualifiers. Be ready, Vladimir Koloff. Be ready for Gan Yimke.
It's your funeral.
All right. Well, we will see you then. Or I will. I don't know. The other guys can't fight for me, but I will. So I will see you then.
Indeed, comrade. Indeed.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for the very first edition of Band Brawlers Radio. We got to do some interviews with some interesting people. We got to see some live performances. And there's also an unpredictability factor. As you can see right now, Gan has just signed a contract, and he is obligated to compete in a wrestling match against Vladimir Koloff in about 6 months. So anything can happen, so make sure you tune in next time, because the surprises are guaranteed to mount up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thanks for joining us, everybody. See you next time. I hope I don't die.